Today we're welcoming Sam Reid to Altrincham Football Club. Sam's Alty's latest signing. He's a left back. He's been at Sheffield Wednesday for a couple of years. And Sam, you've had a different path to a lot of new signings that come to Altrincham Football Club, in that most of them have come through the academy system and then they've gone into men's football. But you've gone pretty well straight into men's football at 16 at Brighouse Town. So tell us how that's come about.
Well, I obviously trialled at Wednesday at 16, trying to see if maybe I could go down that route of being in the academies, and didn't really work out for me at the time. So my dad ended up being the assistant at Brighouse, so I went along to train with them. Obviously impressed the manager there, Will Powell. He ended up taking me on board and sort of just took off from there.
Yeah, Will Powell's a name that one or two Altrincham fans may remember, because he's played, put us out of the FA Trophy about 20 years ago, so playing for North Ferriby. So had a good career and obviously did well at Brighouse Town. And Brighouse Town, a progressive club in recent years. They've sort of come from lower leagues and they've done really well.
Yeah. I think while I was there, we had a good couple of seasons where we just maybe finished outside the playoffs in 7th on goal difference one of the years. And I just think, yeah, they was really good at bringing young people through. Obviously, they didn't really have a big budget. So a lot of the players that we did end up having, like me, ended up progressing to the higher leagues and academies.
So your dad was the assistant manager to Will Powell, so he's there to look after you, but also great experience playing against seasoned professionals from the age of 16, 17.
Yeah, I think I think it helped me more than if I did go to an academy, because it sort of showed me that side of where you have to be a bit stronger, a bit physical, maybe use sort of people call the dark arts of nipping and holding people on corners. And it sort of showed me that the side of football that at academies you don't really get, because it's a lot more of just about passing and keeping your shape. It's not really about the winning. Well, it is about winning, but it's not really about that at those sort of levels. It's more about getting the win than actually looking pretty.
So you've not come through. You've had a trial at Sheffield Wednesday. It's not happened for you. You've gone away. You've got some experience in men's football, but eventually they've come back and taken you on and offered you a contract.
Yeah. Well, I would say obviously it was a bit of a shock when you get to probably 19, 20. You don't think that it's going to really happen. And then obviously I got the phone call and I jumped at the opportunity. So Sheffield Wednesday, it's your hometown club. Are you a Wednesday fan? Yeah, yes.
All right, you're an Owls fan, right? Fantastic. So, well, that's boyhood dream stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and then obviously I made my debut for them as well, which was, well, you don't really have words to describe stuff like that. And yeah, being around there, I think it's sort of what you dream of as since being 3 or 4 and sitting in the stands with a season ticket. You never thought that you'd be a part of the club and be on that pitch.
So tell us about your debut, how that came about and what it was like.
Well, I'd been training with the first team for a while, and I think we had a cup game against Coventry in the FA Cup, and like a week before I'd been training, and they were saying there's an opportunity, there may be a chance of you like being in the squad, and I ended up being on the bench. And then it got to about the 65th minute, and the gaffer gave me the nods to go and warm up, and you warm up and he tells you, all right, get changed, you're coming on, and you start shaking because it's a bit surreal. And then I got on, and yeah, it's just unbelievable playing in front of a massive crowd in a stadium when everyone's cheering.
And what sort of experience has it been for you at Hillsborough?
I'd say it's been a good one. Being in full-time football obviously improves you a lot. You're constantly on the ball. It's a different game. Training with the first team, you sort of, in my eyes, I was kind of playing with my idols, really. People like Barry Bannon, obviously, because I've been watching him since I was 12. And playing alongside him, obviously, improve a lot. And get to see what it's like at that level, which is completely different to anything I'd ever seen, really.
And you've had a couple of loan spells in National League and National League North this season. Boston United promoted from National League North last season via the playoffs, having a really difficult season when you went there. So tell us about your time in Lincolnshire.
I think it was good. Again, the manager there, Graham, really wanted me. He said that he wanted to bring some people in people that he thought matched his play style, and I felt like I did. But when I went in, it was sort of me and him sort of went in at the same time. So he was still trying to figure out his team and the way he wanted to play and the best way to get results. 'Cause obviously they were struggling to get results, so we had to figure out ways to grind it out. And then I ended up playing multiple positions, which I feel like is something that I am comfortable with being quite athletic, and I'd say I'm all right on the ball. So I would say that's something that's available wherever I go, being able to play multiple positions.
And how would you describe yourself as a footballer, as a left back, particularly, which is your main position?
I'd say that I am quite a progressive fullback, driving with the ball. I like to try and get forward, take people on, get shots off. But I also feel like my defensive side is very strong as well. I feel like maybe sometimes I am a little too defensive and sort of don't get forward when I can. But yeah, I do like to progress the ball forward and get crosses in the box.
Your second loan spell last season was at Scarborough Athletic, and how did that go?
That was great. I feel like that. Obviously, with what happened at Boston, it was a bit more of a struggle. Whereas I went in there and sort of just hit the ground running. I think I was playing well. The fans are great there, and everyone believes in you. There's a real sense of like family and community there. And again, I started off at left back, but ended up moving to right wing, and that was really enjoyable. And sort of Jono trusted in me to do that, and well, I ended up doing well, and they all ended up asking me to try and get me to stay.
So that's Jonathan Greening, who's been a long time now at Scarborough and achieved great success. Yeah,
he's doing really well. Obviously, he had a successful career himself. So I feel like when I went there, he has his structure, but he understands as a player that when you're on the pitch, you sort of have to figure out things and do your own thing, because it's like ever changing, and it's not really, when you're playing football, you can't really predict what's going to happen all the time. So I feel like he had the structure, but he also had the trust where if you thought that something was better, he'd let you do that.
And when were you first aware of interest from Altrincham Football Club?
Well, my agent told me that I had some interest from them in January when I was looking for a loan, obviously with me not being involved in the first team as much as I was the year before. And Wednesday ended up sort of not working that out for a number of reasons. And obviously he kept, the manager, Phil's, kept an eye on me, obviously with my loan from Scarborough and Boston. And then he contacted us again at the end of the season, obviously, now that I'm was available, and come in and discussed, and now I'm here.
So like a number of players, you're a player that Phil Parkinson's had on his radar for some time, and he's clearly liked what he's seen. What do you think's impressed him most about your performances?
I would probably say, again, the way I'm on the ball, the way I drive forward. He said he wanted me he likes his fullbacks to get forward and progress with the ball, get involved in the attacks. And I just think that I sort of bring what maybe you'd say the modern fullback, what people look for in a modern fullback of nowadays, that the fullback's so important to get you up the pitch and sort of get out of the defence.
And last season, you've played a number of games in National League, a number of games in National League North. Do you see many differences between the two levels?
I I would say that the top half, maybe teams like Scunthorpe and Kidderminster and Chester, teams like that, maybe not as much as a difference. But obviously, every time you go up a league, there's obviously that progression of where the players are maybe a little better, a little sharper, or cause obviously there's more money higher up in the leagues. But I would say that there's not as big as a difference as maybe I thought there would be. But obviously there is still a difference. Otherwise, there wouldn't be separate leagues.
And the National League essentially is a full-time professional league. National League North has got a mixture of
yeah.
fully professional and semi-professional clubs. That does make it very difficult for the semi-pro clubs.
Yeah, I would say at the top of the National League North, it was mainly the full-time clubs like Buston, Kidderminster and Brackley and all those, whereas the semi-professional clubs, you don't really get the amount of training or the fitness that the top clubs do, and you don't really get to do shape and work like that because you only get 2 training sessions, and most of them have like at Scarborough, most of the people I was playing with had jobs.
I'm guessing, being a Yorkshire lad, not having any connections with Altrincham Football Club, you don't really know too much about the club at this stage.
No, not at the minute. I am hoping to get to know more. I have read a little bit about the club and obviously the history and that the way that they've come through being a part-time club and going into professional. So it seems like they have a lot of ambition, and hopefully I can help them progress.
You'll certainly find Altrincham a very progressive club, certainly a club that's on the up, and wish you all the very best, Sam, in your time at Altrincham Football Club.
Thank you. I look forward to it.